Hello, this is DJ Mega 817, and today I'm going to be doing a One Piece discussion video. Today I will be talking about the Vice Admirals in One Piece. One thing I forgot to mention in my update video is that I'm going to be doing most of my videos on my phone. So this is why you see this right now. It's going to be like this until further notice. It is what it is. My computer is down right now, so this is how it's going to be for the most part. My music-related videos might not be like this. Well, they won't be like this, and if they aren't, you won't be seeing them. Anywho, on to the discussion. The One Piece Vice Admirals is something that's kind of been annoying me as of late, especially in this arc. And that's the whole thing with them constantly getting fodderized at every point in turn. One thing I've noticed about the Vice Admirals in this series is the fact that there seems to be a big gap between them and an Admiral. This bothers me because Vice Admirals is the rank right below Admiral. So, the way I see it anyway, the gap between them shouldn't be as big as it is. But obviously that's not the case. Furthermore, there seems to be a huge gap between the Vice Admirals themselves. Like, the power levels, they vary. Like, you have some Vice Admirals that's really weak where they will get one-shotted or beat quite easily and quickly by semi-strong characters, I suppose. And then you got others that seem to be, I would say, somewhat strong, I guess. I'll always explain. Like, what's that dude's name, man? He got fodderized by Barmatello. I just butchered that dude's name. He gets fodderized by him. Granted, we didn't get to see the fight. I'm pretty sure the fight wasn't really much since it was pretty quick. And he came out the fight without a scratch. That's really bad if you think about it. What other examples do we have of a Vice Admiral? I think that's the other issue I have, is the fact that the Vice Admirals in general aren't used enough. And I think the only time we really got to see the Vice Admirals like in action was in this lobby when the 5 Vice Admirals showed up at Marineford, and most of them are getting beaten. Granted, you have John the Giant who got beat by Whitebeard, so that's not really a good. That wasn't really a fair fight because it's Whitebeard and you're fighting a Yonko. That's not really a good estimate of power. But when you have one getting fodderized by some newbie, come on now, that's not a good look on you at all. And I'm not saying Barmatello is weak, but no way in shape or form is that dude weak. But still, he should have at least had like a little bit of trouble if these Vice Admirals are worth the salt, worth any type of salt. But obviously that's not how it went. Then you have the other guy. What's his name? Bastel. The dude with the mask. He got fodderized by Sabo, who we've seen recently is very close to being Admiral level. I'm not sure if I go as far as to say he's Admiral level just yet, but he's very, very close to it. And for him to fodderize Bastel like that, wow. Just wow. It's just bad, really. It's really bad when you think about it. And when it comes to the Vice Admirals, the most impressive Vice Admirals we've seen so far have been Virgo and Garp. This is a problem for me because Virgo was, I wouldn't really consider like an official Vice Admiral because he was a pirate disguising himself as a Vice Admiral. Yet he has some of the best feats when it comes to Vice Admirals, being able to imbue himself with a full black armored hockey all across his body. Gave Sanji, Smoker, and even Law, they gave him all some trouble. He beat Smoker, but then that's not really that big of a deal. But he gave all these guys trouble, and he's fighting them back to back. So that is an impressive feat. And the fact that he's able to do that with arm and hockey in general is impressive because we haven't seen anyone do that before. I'm pretty sure there'll be other people that can do that, but so far he's been the first one that we've seen. and he's definitely the most impressive. And he was able to do it, and he was able to engulf his weapon with it too. And we saw he had great control of armored hockey. So yeah, he has some of the best feats of the Vice Admirals. And then you have Garth, who's the other half when it comes to like great Vice Admiral feats. And once again, I don't like considering him a Vice Admiral in this case because of the fact that he obviously is not Vice Admiral level. He's Admiral level at the very least. You have to remember, this is the same guy who was chasing Goldie Roger around, back when they were both in their prime. And this is the same guy who one-shot Marco, who was the first commander of the Whitebeard Pirates, the dude who was kind of going toe-to-toe with Kizaru. Not completely, but he was able to hold his own against him for the most part. And he got one-shot by Garth's punch. And of course, then you have the thing he did with Dong Xingjiao, the continent buster, who can, bust a continent with his head. These are great feats. And the best feats we've seen for the Vice Admirals are, it's like, I guess you could say two, like, official/unofficial Vice Admirals. It's sad when you think about that, because Garth was even also asked to be an Admiral, and then he turned it down. I'm not sure if he was asked to be Fleet Admiral, but he was definitely asked to be Admiral, and he turned that down. So it's like when you look at some of the other Vice Admirals that we have seen, none of the other Vice Admirals have any feats that come close to these two characters. And Virgo may or may not be dead. If he is, it's what it is. What it is. If he isn't, personally, first I would rather him just not come back at this point. Like, just stay dead, just stay gone forever. But that's just me. But yeah, the Vice Admirals, they've been quite disappointing. I think we need some stronger Vice Admirals. And we need Vice Admirals that's going to give some of these characters a challenge. Unless, Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji, and Law, unless they're all, Admiral level or very close to it, then I guess that would make sense as to why they're just making these guys look bad. But I've even heard people say that even pre-time skip Luffy was able to fight a Vice Admiral. I'm not sure if that's completely true or not. We did see him evade, what's that dude's face? I can't remember his name. It started with an M, and he had this long mustache. He was really tall, and he had a sword, and I'm pretty sure you guys know who I'm talking about. You also got the Dalmatian guy. He was a Vice Admiral. You got that 8-armed guy that put the sea cuff stone on Marco. I'm pretty sure a few of these guys might wind up fighting some of the other Straw Hats or something. I'm pretty sure the 8-armed guy might fight Robin, and John the Giant is probably going to fight Frankie. Although I probably just got that from the recent One Piece opening, or the current one. So it shows them fighting. And I think Brooke, I think he might fight the dude with the mustache I'm talking about. Those three Vice Admirals that I mentioned, those 3 to 4 Vice Admirals that I mentioned, they're the semi-decent ones. The ones that, they're okay, at least pre-time skip. We haven't really seen them post-time skip, so I don't know where they stand right now. John the Giant is kind of hard to talk about because we saw him get trashed by Whitebeard, but again, that's not a fair fight. I mean, it's Whitebeard, but still, these guys are absolutely pathetic for the most part. And the sad part about it is that I don't see any of these Vice Admirals ever becoming an Admiral at some point. I guess that's probably why they didn't become Admirals after Alkaino got promoted, Aokiji left. What did they do? They got 2 brand new Marines. They didn't pick any of the Vice Admirals, and I guess it's because they just were too, irrelevant, insufficient, that type of thing. So I think that's about it. I apologize if it's not the most coherent discussion. But it's just something that's been bothering me. And I'm pretty sure, and I know it's been bothering some other people too, because I know some people have been complaining about it, the Vice Admirals suck, they're fodder. They really shouldn't be, though. I'm not saying they should be as strong as an admiral, obviously not, but they should be close to it. The gap between them shouldn't be as wide, and the fluctuating levels between vice admiral and vice admiral shouldn't be that way either. First of all, the vice admiral should be around the same strength, and they should be like, I would say, like a step or two behind an admiral. That's why it's so hard to gauge, where some of the characters are. Because, oh wait, they're this level of a vice admiral. No, they're that level of vice admiral, because it just fluctuates too much. It's funny because it seems to be easier to depict who's admiral level when you see these characters fight as opposed to who's vice, or where they stand in the vice admiral scale, because it fluctuates too much. It could be because there's a lot of vice admirals. There's more vice admirals than admirals, which is something I don't really understand. But I don't know. And then there's the rear admirals. Like, what? Are they even still relevant, or what's the deal with that? But I'm not even going to get into that because it's just not really worth it. I'm just going to end it here. Leave me some thoughts on what you think. Is there any other discussions about One Piece or any of the big three or whatever that you want me to make a video about? Let me know. Rate, comment, subscribe, and I will see you later.